Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? Let me turn that down. Just trying to relive the vibe of yesterday. It was a great thing being a hippie. It really was. It was a groovy time. We need people to come back. We need the flower children. We need people that were expressive ourselves. A lot of us expressed ourselves back then, painting our cars, and it was pretty cool. Hey, listen, any generation that brought tie-dye t-shirts, come on. So how is everybody? So good to see you, one and all. Thank you for being here. Hello, Robert V, Nina the Mystic with her show tonight, Hump Day. So tune in over there. I think it's 8 p.m. Hey, David Castle. Deborah, good to see ya. Susie Q, hello. Hello there, David Barre. Jules, how you doing? Bernadette and Gaia. Yeah, I look at this world and I go, I lived through the Vietnam War, lived through Watergate, Johnson, Kennedy assassination, Cuban Missile Crisis. Pretty tense times, but we made it, and I think we shall yet persevere in all of this. So, hello, Peter. How are you doing? Hello, Isby. Sasa, good to see you as well. Uh, is that Janny? Good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Dawn, what's up? Hey, Spirit Woman Colorado. Good to see ya. Hope you're having a good day. May I just invoke favor upon us all, empower us and prosper. May you be in good health, good state of consciousness, and may your spirit being ever reign supreme. Um, that's just how we hang here. So what's else happening? 7P, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Emperor Rex, good to see you. And Cater Fitness, I think that I am not sure. Dragon Soul Fox, hello. So, see the picture behind me? That's what I got to see this morning. In fact, let me go and pull something up here because I think it was a spectacular event out what the skies were showing us. And let me just show this to you. So we get over here. There I am. Now I can go over here and I will share this. So this is what it was looking like. And as he continues to march through. Oh yeah, I had some videos in there as well. Let's see if we can skip those. It was quite spectacular. I mean, the colors were aglow. And they got better as the sun continued to make its journey yet again. I mean, that's just gorgeous. Look at what anyone says. Try to paint that. It's spectacular. Check that one out. You can see a lot in that if you put your imagination into it. Looks like winged creatures. There we go. It was so intense. So anyway, there you go. I thought it was pretty cool myself. Yeah. Beauty is all around us. Isn't that what they say? Real clouds. Yeah. It's actually here. It's known Kent as a mountain wave cloud. We get them when you're wherever you're backed up next to the mountain all over the world. Yeah. And it's spectacular. I love it. John Denver wrote in one of his songs, I have seen fire in the sky. And I would say that that is a pretty good representation of fire in the sky. Wouldn't you say? Anyway, so how the heck are y'all? Everyone handling this? Interesting. It does. Hello, Lois. How you doing? Cajun Queen Tarot. Good to see you. How you been? Just trying to keep up in the chat. So let's move on. Today we're going to cover, well, the first human to worship. And I don't know if Adam is a spirit or not. It's kind of difficult. He may be a soul. So can a soul worship a spirit? Apparently so. Is a soul lesser in stance to a spirit? I don't know. There was a time in my life where I saw the soul and the spirit to being synonymous. No, it was like, okay, it's just a exchange of a different word calling the same thing what it is. But apparently from the, writings, we are literally the result of a genetic experiment by a race of beings known as the Elohim. And these Elohim are cantankerous species. I mean, they're just they're spiteful. They're just they have apparently a real thin skin. We would call that down here. You can't insult them. Hello, Deborah. How you doing? And if you do, well, these suckers will actually curse your ass. They'll change you. And they're apparently really good at cursing. Apparently they're good on making things happen. So now we come into the reading where we're going to see several things. Is that what's really going on here? Why is Adam worshiping this entity when he never did before? So let's move on. So I hope you're enjoying this. I am immensely. I know many of you are. You write me all the time. All right. So we get the fact that Adam keeps killing himself. He's just not digging this thing at all. He can't adapt. He's having trauma everywhere he turns. He's developing a victim complex. And Eve, I mean, this gal, I mean, whatever Adam had pales in comparison to what Eve was enduring. So let's pick up here. It says, then the merciful God, and I'm going to start calling God here when they use the word God, the Elohim. Then the merciful Elohim, good and lover of men, looked upon Adam and Eve and upon their blood, which they had held up as an offering unto him. We're just recapping here. Without an order from him for so long, but he wondered at them. We talked about this, and accepted their offering. And the Elohim sent from his presence a bright fire that consumed their offering. I thought about this, and we're reading this yet again, but every time you read this, you get more rhema from this. That could, what type of technology would be required to come down and then to literally consume or evaporate blood? Most likely doing the whole analysis. I get along the idea of a laser. We have lights that do this on our spacecraft up on Mars. So I'm trying, because all these Elohim this is not God. This is just an individual, apparently a very weak one, that uses technology. It has a greater understanding. And us ignorant monkeys down here, we see this coming out of the sky. And so we're going to be interpreting this as fire. Yeah. Anyway, we found out that he smelt the sweet savior of their offering and showed them mercy. You know, red flags everywhere. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Get the hell out of here. It's too late. Something has now happened. Blood has come into the scene. And it says, and when the word from the Elohim came to Adam and said unto him, O Adam, as you have shed your blood, so I will shed my own blood when I become flesh in your seed. That's got genetic written all over it. You know, think about what's happening here. We have the blood, the DNA, we have the complete genome, and now we're going to be using this unique creature, because I don't know if the Elohim are actually capable of having intercourse. I don't know if they're actually capable of, ejaculating semen. I mean, let's get real about this. What are we, children? We can't talk about adult things. You're going to find out that these two creatures, I didn't know what sex was. But anyway, I digress. So now we have blood. Now this Elohim is saying that I'm going to come and make myself a physical body, but I'm going to do it through your seed. We could spend an hour on that, but we don't. We got to move on. So now we get to chapter 25. God represented as merciful and loving, the establishing of worship. But the Elohim knew that Adam had in his thoughts, so he could read his mind, that he should often kill himself and make an offering to him from his blood. I mean, this is where where is your mind thinking, well, now what I got to do is figure out how many different ways I can off myself, because I'm always going to come back. I mean, if you had that mentality, would you not have any more fear of cause and effect? It's Groundhog Day all over again. There have been many television series and movies based on it. You're coming back over and over again, and you suddenly discover all your inhibitions go away. Why? Because none of the consequences matter. Cause and effect has no permanency in that realm. Yeah. Therefore did the Elohim say unto him, O Adam, do not again kill yourself as you have by throwing yourself down from that mountain. But Adam said unto the Elohim, it was in my mind to put an end to myself at once, for having transgressed your commandments, and for my having come out of the beautiful garden, and for the bright light of which you have deprived me, and for the praises which poured forth from my mouth without ceasing, and for the light that covered me. This light is very, very important. I believe it's beyond even thing that we've comprehended. We know this. It's physical. Whatever this light is, it is physical. And whenever this light encompasses a living essence, it transmutes it. It becomes Superman's cape. Now get this. Yet of your goodness, O Elohim, do not away with me altogether. In other words, don't cut me off, but be favorable to me every time I die and bring me to life. Now, the Elohim is not a smart species. They've got longer longevity than us. They have technology that we don't know about. But Adam had figured it out. He says, well, I've died well, at least 13, 14 times now. This God is saying, time out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm seeing how this is going to play out. He might become smart enough to figure out that every time he died, he left himself something that he could use to strengthen him each cycle through. Reincarnation's a bitch, isn't it? And thereby it will be made known that you are a merciful God, who will not that one should perish, who loves not that one should fall, and who does not condemn anyone cruelty, badly, or withhold destruction. Adam, this is the Stockholm syndrome. I mean, Adam should be the warden, but Adam is the prisoner. And we know what happens when you traumatize a prisoner long enough. They break down and they become malleable mentally. And obviously, in this case, for Adam is concerned, apparently down to the very core of his spirit being. If Adam has a spirit, what if this light is represented by the spirit? Lilith has a few things to say on that. It's interesting as I'm recalling now her words. Odd how they come into play here. Then Adam didn't speak again. And the word of the Elohim come unto him and blessed him and comforted him. I don't know what blessed means here. I know what it means, but it's interesting because, again, we're talking about something that physically is happening here. And get the next word. And coveted with him. Now, it's an interesting word, covenant. When I was back in the days in the ministry, I knew the importance of covenants, blood covenants, particularly. And I was lost when I saw this one because I'm asking myself, a covenant is an intimacy of an exchange. Some would bring the word coitus into play, as Paul in the book of Ephesians wrote. This represents something intimately physical. I don't know. It's just an interesting word that they put in here, that he would save him at the end of days determined upon him. Then this was the first offering Adam made unto God, and so it became his custom to do so. Worship. Wow. I don't know what this, I could see it in almost a way as you would have it with the Native Americans. In fact, all of our ancestors, the ritual of sitting around a fire and two families are coming together. And because both clans know that by themselves they are vulnerable. But if they were to join in covenant with this other clan, then the two shall become one and become very powerful. In order for a covenant to be legitimate, there has to be an exchange of something. You don't have a covenant with it's just one side. That doesn't work. And so as these two families come together, they would come around a campfire. And as the fire would have its focus, then the two, in this case, and there are those times where there would be the female, but I'm speaking in this case in tradition of two male leaders representing both clans. And by the way, that the women of these clans, they had their own rituals. But in order to make this a covenant binding, each would come, grab the other's hand, and they would slit their palms, thus mashing each palm together, mixing of the blood. It's a blood covenant, a blood oath. And is that by the mixing of the blood that this will now surpass generations. This is forever settled in the councils. I know I went a long time on this, but this is what happens so often we overlook, because that word covenanted. So it's real interesting what was exchanged here, because whatever was happening was comforting Adam. Wow. So this is the beginning of worship. And by the way, you can carry this forward into the Abrahamic religions. This is exactly the same word or tense of the word that Yahweh, the Elohim, used with Abram. Abram coming from Sumer. And the same type of covenant took place again. So it's interesting. We move on. Chapter 26, the beautiful prophecy of eternal life and joy, the fall of night. Then Adam took Eve, and they began to return to the cave of treasures where they dwelt. But when they neared it, they saw it from afar. Heavy sorrow fell upon them. Now, I find this interesting because this had to be a dreary place. I mean, here you have the elation of making a covenant, right? Now you're going back home and you're saying, oh man, what a freaking dump. Then Adam said to Eve, when we were on the mountain, we were comforted by the word of God that conversed with us, and the light that came from the east shone over us. But now the word of God is hidden from us, the light that shone over us, so is changed as to disappear. It's nighttime. Let the darkness and sorrow come upon us. I swear Adam is such a drama queen. Man. The original Karen. And we were forced to enter this cave, which is like a prison, wherein darkness covers us, so that we are parted from each other, and you cannot see me, and I cannot see you. See, they haven't figured out that, hey, man, if you rub a little flesh together, you know, you consolidate vital energy, right? When Adam said these words, they wept and spread their hands before God, for they were full of sorrow. And they entreated God to bring the sun to them, to shine on them, so that darkness returned upon them, and they came not again under this covering of the rock, and they wished to die rather than to see the darkness. Very interesting thing here. I keep thinking. So let's think about this. We have Adam, who had this light. Eve did as well. They seem to be pretty smart. They didn't seem to age. It's removed. And then they become really dumb. Excuse me. Could this be where they re-engineered the genes in our body that said, you're eventually going to grow old. You're never going to be more intelligent than 100 IQ. For this to happen so quickly, I wonder if we're missing a part of this story, that before they were kicked out, they went out and don't have a remembrance of it. I don't know, but all they do know is that they seem to really not dig the darkness. Then God looked upon Adam and Eve, upon their great sorrow, and upon all that they had done with a fervent heart, on account of all the trouble they were in, instead of their former well-being, and on account of all the misery that came upon them in this strange land. There's a cycleness going on here. I mean, come on. I mean, this is the dude that's causing all this, and now he's going, oh, it's so sad to see what those poor bastards are going through. Therefore, the Elohim was not mad with them, nor impatient with them, but he was long-suffering and forbearing towards them, as towards the children he had created. If a human being exhibited this type of emotional personality, they'd be wearing a straitjacket. I mean, this is the classic case of schizophrenia. In this case, it could be multiple personalities that are actually alive. I have a book that still need to get to, in which we've seen in the Bible, there's many different gods, but there's apparently 5 different Yahwehs. I mean, how could you be this intelligent being, right? The all-intelligent, most intelligent, and you're going through this kind of head games? I mean, this is weird. Then came the word of the Elohim to Adam, and said unto him, Adam, as for the sun, if I were to take it and bring it to you, days, hours, years, months would all come to nothing. And the covenant I made with you would never be fulfilled. Again, what was exchanged here? I don't know. But thou should then be turned and left in a long plague. No salvation would be left to you forever. Wow. Yes, rather, bear long and calm your soul while you abidest in the night and the day, until the fulfillment of the days and the time of my covenant is come. So we have now this structure of this being that's implementing a measurement of time. Now, I ask myself when I read this, well, are we seeing a model here of the universe? I mean, we have time measured because of our sun. Is this how all suns work? I don't know. And he's saying, well, just chill out, dude. Then shall I come and save you, O Adam, and do not wish that you be afflicted. And when I look at all the good things in which you did live, and why you came out of them, then would I willingly show you mercy. But I cannot alter the covenant that has gone out of my mouth, else would I have brought you back to the garden. Now we're finding a contract into saying that apparently Adam violated one of the clauses that prevents the first party of the contract of the two parties, that will now basically no longer obligate the first party to obligate themselves to the conditions of the second party. And Adam went, what? It goes on. When, however, the covenant is fulfilled, then shall I show you and your seed mercy, and bring you into a land of gladness. Well, apparently they ain't there, where there is neither sorrow nor suffering, but abiding joy and gladness, and light that never fails, and praises that never cease, and a beautiful garden that shall never pass away. Has anyone figured this out? There's no heaven being promised here. They're just going back to the garden. Hello, Woodstock. But anyway, and again, every garden must have laborers. I don't know. Maybe they were just so blissful in doing their work that maybe they ate the mushrooms. I don't know. And the Elohim said unto Adam, be long suffering. In other words, suck it up, cupcake, and enter the cave, for the darkness of which you are afraid of shall only be 12 hours long, when in it the light shall rise. Well, okay. Then when Adam heard these words from God, he and Eve worshiped before him. What? And their hearts were comforted. They returned into the cave after their custom, while tears flowed from their eyes, sorrow and wailing came from their hearts, and they wished their soul would leave their body. Maybe it can't. Maybe it's chained. And Adam and Eve stood praying until the darkness of night came upon them, and Adam was hid from Eve, and she from him. And they remained standing in prayer. So are you figuring out something as well? They haven't slept. In all of the readings, and we're going in chapter 27, they never sleep. That's weird. The second tempting of Adam and Eve, the devil takes the form of a beguiling light. Now, you can obviously understand a lot of this. I don't know. They claim that this is a pretty old book, but I see a lot of what I would call postmodernism in the eschatology being used here. I mean, it's obviously heavily influenced by Catholicism and mixing again in with Judaism and even some Islam. It's interesting. When Satan, the hater of all good, so can I just ask everyone, who is defining good here? Maybe the better word would have been light. When Satan, the hater of all light, saw how they continued in prayer and how God communed with them and comforted them and how he had accepted their offering, Satan made an apparition. He began with transforming his host. In his hands was a flashing fire, and they were in a great light. This creature apparently knows this being, which is either a fallen Elohim, because that's the only place it could have come from. And they did something. Put him in a transporter, and upon his reassembling, someone went, oh, we really screwed this one up. Look at that dude. Yeah, anyway. Then he placed his throne. Isn't this interesting? His throne. I would say that this could be easily used with his energy. Who knows? Maybe his ship. Isn't that where he came from? That's how the Elohim move. Anyway, so he places his throne near the mouth of the cave because he could not enter into it by reason of their prayers. So the vibration was apparently of such a frequency that he couldn't get near it. And he shed light into the cave. Well, I mean, if you got a creature that can begin to transmute energy within itself, well, hell yeah, he would have the ability to shine a light in. Until the cave glistened over Adam and Eve, while his host began to sing praise. Now, this is an interesting word, glistening, because this is implying there's something about their skin. Their skin is different. Apparently, even with artificial light that hits it, It literally glistened. And Satan did this in order that when Adam saw the light, he should think within himself that this was a heavenly light, kind of like the moth and the fire, and that Satan's host were angels, and that God had sent them to watch at the cave and give him light in the darkness. Now, I find it's interesting, Satan's host. Now, if you follow the Christian story, there's 100 trillion angels in heaven. It's in the book of Revelation. Excuse me, actually, it's in the epistles of John. So if a third of the heavens fell, that implies 33 trillion somethings came down. Because Satan wants to fool Adam in thinking that his host, whatever they are actually angels. So that when Adam came out of the cave and saw them, and Adam and Eve bowed to Satan, then he would overcome Adam thereby, and a second time humble him before God. Wow, implying that this has already happened by their exodus of the garden. Maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. I mean, yeah, they may have been happy in their work, but what Adam and Eve don't realize is that in one essence, they're more freer than what they've ever thought they could ever be if they were still in the garden. Yeah, it's going to suck for a while, but freedom always requires a price. It's just a thought. When therefore Adam and Eve saw the light, fancying it as real, what kind of light are we talking about here? They strengthened their hearts, yet as they were trembling. There's something fundamentally different about these two. We've evolved. I don't even know if we would look the same, because there's clues all through this. They're different than us. Adam said to Eve, "Look at the great light, and at those many songs of praise, and at the host standing outside that do not come in to us. Do not tell us what they say, or where they came, or what is the meaning of this light, what those praises are, wherefore they have been sent here too, and why they do not come in." This is really a bizarre scene. I don't know what these beings are, but it would seem that Adam and Eve have seen representations of them before. They can't quite figure out, though, why they ain't coming inside. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. And that's exactly what's happening here. But they're going, And can you imagine the sound of the praises? What does a non-human, what kind of sound would this be? It's obviously very loud. I don't know. He says, if they were from God, they would come to us in the cave and would tell us their mission. Adam, you're finally getting it. Way to go, dude. We've been pulling for you. Then Adam stood up and prayed unto God with a fervent heart and said, "O Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? This Satan's out there. He's driving a BMW." Anyway, "O Lord, is there in the world another God than you?" Dun, 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 dun. Who created angels and filled them with light and sent them to keep us, who would come with them. Oh, this is getting really complex. But what the hell? We see these hosts that stand at the mouth of our cave making a hell of a ruckus. They're in this great light and they're singing loud praises, man. I mean, it's echoing all through the cave. If they are of some other god than you, tell me. If they are sent by you, inform me of the reason for which you have sent them. Wow. Adam, where did you get this sudden cognitive reasoning at a higher level? And OMD, are you really saying that? And Adam's going, is there another God? Is who can actually create? Now that would be a threat to this God, this Elohim. I mean, when he got word from this and he heard this, I'll guarantee you he threw a conniption fit. Get this, no sooner had Adam said this than an angel from God appeared to him in the cave and said to him, "Oh, Adam, wait a minute, fear not here. This is Satan and his host. He wishes to deceive you as he deceived you at first. For the first time, he was hidden in the serpent, but this time he has come to you in the similitude of an angel of light, in order that when you worshiped him, you might enthrall you in the very presence of God." In other words, to bring a charge against you. So I thought God took Satan, the serpent, and threw the damn thing all the way over to India. Well, looks like we only got part of the story, because apparently there is yet another being other than a talking snake. And the interesting thing, this one is, he seems to have the power and the ability to either match and or mock this God. And this God can't do anything about it. Now we're going to see here that apparently it said, and the angel went from Adam and seized Satan at the opening of the cave and stripped him of the faint that he had assumed, in other words, the light, and brought him to his own hideous form to Adam and Eve, who were afraid of him when they saw him. Didn't the forbidden religion say that when the unknowable God sends in his warriors in here, that their true forms are so distorted because this matter, this density, is so harmful to them? And the angel said to Adam, "This hideous form has been his ever since God made him fall from heaven, that he could not have come near you in it. Therefore did he transform himself into an angel of light." Well, this is really interesting, because now this brings back the whole story about this war, this galactic war, that we're using synonyms of God, spirits, angels, demons, Satan. But really what it is, it's just a battle of two, I think, powerful entities that even go beyond our understanding. Because apparently, here's the deal, folks, it would seem that neither side is winning. I mean, this is ongoing for how long, how many millions of years? Who knows? It seems like they're, in the art of war, they're very evenly matched. The art of war says when that happens, you should take and look at your options: fight or split. Fight another day. Who knows? Maybe they are. Then the angel went from Adam and seized Satan and stripped him. The Then the angel drove away Satan and his host from Adam and Eve, and said unto him, Fear not, the Elohim who created you will strengthen you. And the angel went from them. Now, I'm gathering this is not an archangel because the angel isn't with a capital A. So I guess this is just one of the commands, right? But Adam and Eve remained standing in the cave. No consolation came to them. They were divided in their thoughts. I bet they were. I mean, this is a whole new revelation. I mean, you could say that they just graduated here, because now they're thinking, wait a minute. If this creature was able to do that, what else can this creature do? Well, we're going to find out. And when it was morning, they prayed, and they went out to seek the garden, for their hearts were towards it, and they could get no consolation for having left it. So again, they don't sleep. They're now in this sense of prayer, and they haven't figured out that they're not going to get back into the garden. Now, apparently, they're not eating. We have no evidence that they're eating anything. Chapter 28, the devil pretends to lead Adam and Eve to the water to bathe. But when the wily Satan saw them, so apparently this angel just said, shh, get the hell out of here. And, like a hyena, just went about, 10 yards away and said, okay, I'll still get you, sucker. Then they were going to the garden. He gathered together his host, and came in appearance upon a cloud, intent upon deceiving them. But when Adam and Eve saw him thus in a vision, now that's interesting. So they're seeing in the daytime, they're seeing something different. They're not seeing with what we would call normal eyes. They thought they were angels of God that had come to comfort them about their having left the garden, or to bring them back again into it. And Adam spread his hands unto God, beseeching him to make him understand what they were. E.T. Then Satan, the hater of light, said unto Adam, O Adam, I am an angel of the great God, and behold the host that surrounds me. I don't know what Adam is seeing here, but had to be a sight. God has sent me and them to take you and to bring you to the border of the garden northwards. Sounds like an abduction to me. To the shore of the clear sea, and bathe you and Eve in it, and raise you to your former gladness, that you might return again to the garden. These words sank into the hearts of Adam and Eve. Yet God withheld his word from Adam, and did not make him understand at once. Again, you're handicapping the dude, always handicapping him and then blaming him. But waited to see his strength. Okay, so what you're saying here is sink or swim, right? Whether he would be overcome as Eve was in the garden, or whether he would prevail. So it's testing time. Then Satan called to Adam and Eve and said, Behold, we go to the sea of water. And they began to go. But when they came to the mountain to the north of the garden, a very high mountain, without any steps to the top of it, the devil drew near to Adam and Eve and made them go up to the top in reality, and not in a vision, wishing, as he did, to throw them down and to kill them, and to wipe off their name from the earth, so that this earth should remain to him and his host alone. So they're obviously in a trance. They're seeing something, but they're hypnotized. they're not even here. And it would almost seem that they're using some form of transportation. We don't know how far of a distance they have traveled, but they're going to a very high mountain, the very mountain that both of them had already committed suicide with. God tells Adam of the purpose of the devil's purpose. But when the merciful Elohim saw that Satan wished to kill Adam and his manifold devices, with his manifold devices, just figure what we see today, what we know of what aliens, bad aliens, can do, and saw that Adam was meek, without guile, God spoke to Satan in a loud voice and cursed him. Well, if God can do it, I guess we can do it too, huh? Why you blankety blank blank blank? Yeah. I mean, there are some people who know cursing far better than what they know regular speech to be. Then he and his host fled. Now, why didn't the power of this God stay intact? I thought he had bound this creature once before, but in here, he lets him go. I mean, if this God is as a contrarian son of a bitch that it is, why the hell didn't he just finish it? Don't know. And Adam and Eve remained standing at the top of the mountain. So let's stop here again. And it goes on to say, where they saw below them the wide world, high above which they were, but they saw none of the host which anon were by them. This is a strange one because these two humans must have superhuman strength. They climbed a mountain that, I don't know what, 12,000, 15,000. It says that they could see the world below them. So you see how the story reads? You're going, well, how'd they do that? Well, you're not supposed to ask those questions. They wept, both Adam and Eve, before God and begged for forgiveness of him. I mean, they keep begging for forgiveness. And this God withholds it, apparently. Then came, again, this word, capital W-O-R-D, from the Elohim to Adam, and said unto him, know you and understand concerning this Satan, that he seeks to deceive you and your seed after you. And Adam wept before the Lord God, and begged and entreated him to give him something from the garden as a token to him, wherein he could be comforted. And God looked upon Adam's thoughts and sent the angel Michael as far as the sea that reaches into India, and to take from the golden rods, 3 of them apparently, and bring them to Adam. So are we to assume then, is the garden in India? I don't know. This did God in his wisdom, in order that these golden rods, being with Adam in the cave, should shine forth with light in the night around him, and put an end to his fear of the darkness. Wow. I guess this covenant had a provision that where God could actually go back on his word, because that's what just happened here. And then we have to think about the technology. What type of technology that golden rods? Wow. That only an angel can apparently take a hold of, but yet gives off a radiation that apparently is not harmful to humans and gives light. Maybe they have a battery. Think about it. Then the angel Michael went down by God's order, took the golden rods as God had commanded him, and brought them to God. Well, now I thought that they were in the cave. Now I'm totally confused. Adam receives the first worldly goods. Wow. After these things, God commanded the angel Gabriel to go down to the garden and say to the cherub who kept it, "Behold, God has commanded me to come into the garden and to take thence sweet-smelling incense and give it to Adam." It seems like maybe this Elohim's going, maybe I've pushed this a little too far. If his seed ever finds out what I really did, they are going to be pissed. So now we're getting incense. Makes you think, is it frankincense? Is it myrrh? I bet, yes. And then the angel Gabriel went down, okay, by God's order to the garden and told the cherub that what God had commanded. And the cherub said, "Well," and Gabriel went in and took the incense. Can you see this angel going, "Fine. You told me not to let a damn thing come by here, but fine." Then God commanded his angel Raphael to go down to the garden and speak to the cherub about some myrrh, and give to Adam. And then the angel Raphael went down and told the cherub as God had commanded him. And the cherub said, "Well, okay, fine. Open up the doors. I don't care. Go ahead." Then Raphael went in and took the myrrh. The golden rods were from the Indian Sea, where there are precious stones. The incense was from the eastern borders of the garden, and the myrrh from the western borders, whence bitterness came upon Adam. Would seem that Adam got kicked out on the west side. Interesting. And the angels brought these three things to God by the tree of life in the garden. Well, it's hard to tell where we are now, but remember, I think this is almost like you could look at this as a prism, that it was multiple realities happening at the same time. They say that that's what the firestones are. You get in there and you see all realities, all possibilities. Then God said to the angels, "Dip them in the spring of water, then take them and sprinkle their water over Adam and Eve, that they be a little comforted in their sorrow, and give them to Adam and Eve." This dude is so magnanimous, I gotta tell you. And the angels did as God had commanded them, and they gave all those things to Adam and Eve on top of the mountain upon which Satan had placed them, when he sought to make an end of them. And when Adam saw the golden rods, the incense, and the myrrh, he was rejoiced and wept, because he thought that the gold was a token of the kingdom from where he came, and that the incense was a token of the bright light which had been taken from him, and the myrrh was the token of sorrow in which he was. Interesting. Chapter 31. They make themselves more comfortable in the cave of treasures on the third day. So wait a minute. Everything that we have read has been taking place in what I'm assuming here are 2 24-hour days. You got to say one thing. These people were not bored. After these things, the Elohim said unto Adam, "You did ask me something from the garden, to be comforted. And I have given you these three tokens as a consolation to you, that you trust in me and in my covenant with me." Excuse me, and in my covenant with you. Are these incentives? Are these bribes? Because the interesting thing about a covenant can be broke. Again, I think these two beings have far more power than this God, this Elohim, is wanting them to be led on to. Anyway, this Elohim says, "For I will come and save you. The kings shall bring me, when in the flesh, gold, incense, and myrrh. Gold as a token of my kingdom, incense as a token of my divinity, and myrrh as a token of my suffering and of my death. But you, O Adam, put these by you in the cave. The gold, that it may shed light over you by night, the incense, that you would smell its sweet savior, and the myrrh to comfort you in your sorrow." So this is a different type of gold, isn't it? This is a type of gold that shines, baby. I didn't realize it was at the top of the hour. I will finish this out, and then we'll I do. You get engrossed in this story, and it's just a story. I realize it, but yeah. When Adam heard these words from God, he worshiped before him. He and Eve worshiped him and gave him thanks because he had dealt mercilessly with them. That's just what happens when you're a slave. You get the crap beat out of you, and when they throw you a little porridge and a little cupcake, you are damn grateful. It's still abuse. Then God commanded the three angels, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, each to bring what he had brought and give it to Adam, and that it was so, one by one. And God commanded Siriel and Sathiel to bear up Adam and Eve and bring them down from the top of the high mountain and to take them to the cave of treasures. That had to be a wild trip. Got you by your arms, man. I mean, now how big are these angels? Think about this. That they're able to support the weight. I'm giving Adam 150 pounds, give Eve 90. I don't know. That had to be a wild ride, man. Anyway, there they laid the gold on the south side of the cave, the incense on the eastern side, and the myrrh on the western side, for the mouth of the cave was on the north side. Interesting. The angels then comforted Adam and Eve and departed. I don't know what they did. What'd they do? Give them a shot or something? I mean, here, smoke this. You'll be fine. The gold was 70 rods, the incense 12 pounds, the myrrh 3 pounds. Wow. Okay. These remained by Adam in the house of treasures. Therefore, it is called of concealment. But other interpreters say it was called the cave of treasures by reason of the bodies of righteous men that were in it. These three things did God give to Adam on the third day after he had come out of the garden, in token of the 3 days the Lord should remain in the heart of the earth. And these three things, as they continued with Adam in the cave, gave him light by night, and by day they gave him a little relief from his sorrow. Okay. Yeah. I truly, and all stories have essences of truth to them. They originate somewhere. But wow. I mean, I've read many different versions of the story of Adam and Eve, and I don't know. Hey, David Barry, how are you? Well, thank you, my friend. Love, light, and peace to you. And always good to see you over there on Drama 7 Friday night, 7 p.m. my time, which would be, I think, 9 p.m. Eastern. Anyway, hey, Suji. So, hey, Susie Q, good to see you. Brian, hello. So anyway, still no moon. Yes, isn't that interesting, Deborah. And to think we're only day 3. Again, they're not sleeping, they're not eating, they apparently are easily mesmerized. In other words, spells cast over them. But they seem to be, their ability for their bodies, it's amazing. It really is. It boggles the mind to understand, well, what are they really saying here? And I think they're saying a lot. Well, thank you, Robert V. I enjoy it too. It's an adventure. It really is. I mean, many people say Alice in Wonderland was an adventure. This is an adventure because this rabbit hole, I don't know where it's going to lead. We see the reality today, but and it still makes one believe about the deception of the potential of these two beings. If they had this type of strength to climb mountains in what would take a normal human a couple of days to ascend, I mean, they're just, do y'all realize that, it's about 20,000 feet up there? Not a problem. We'll see you in about 20 minutes. I mean, what? And they do this without eating, drinking. I mean, these are amazing bodies they still have. It seems like this transmutation, as I read in one of my Bible classes from one theologian that said, the reason why Adam lived almost 1,000 years and the generation of the close descendancy of Adam's bloodline was that the cellular structure of the body was of such a complexity against the offspring that it took nearly 1,000 years to learn how to die. That Adam and Eve's bodies did not know what death was. It was totally foreign. And remember, they had no belly button. These were creatures that, again, I doubt if they looked very much like us today. I don't know. Let's see, humans weren't created by the Elohim. They want us to think that they corrupted our DNA. Chris, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the Sumerians called them the Anunnaki, Enki. Enki and his mom, those two were partiers. I mean, they made, I think in the tablets, they made 5 versions of Adam, the Atom. And the first 4 were complete idiots. But they finally got one right. But who knows? I mean, it's obvious that we know from the Human Genome Project, we've unlocked the human genome. We know someone's been screwing with us. We know it. We're just trying to figure out who. That's why reading these stories help us, because I think they hide within these stories, that they hide the truth. And it may be just a kernel, maybe just one nugget, but that one nugget adds up, doesn't it? Okay, let's see. So if they didn't have belly buttons, where did our belly buttons come from? By the serpent. Remember the umbilical cord. It's an interesting transmutation, but that's a really good question. Get money. I agree. That really is. Cool. 2 belly buttons. I mean, do you have an outie or do you have an innie? I don't know. That's my boyfriend to come out of the Baptist. Oh, Chris, we send you energies. We send you great energy. Scramble the DNA. Yeah, 7P. The evidence is showing in our neuron structure that they screwed with us. I mean, if you take the last 10,000 years, folks, and I know I've gone over, but this is the stuff we come for. So our intellect has either digressed or remained static. I mean, the average human's IQ is going down today, and it should be doing the opposite. There's no reason for the cellular structure in our bodies to ever degenerate to the point where they ceased to replicate themselves. I mean, I lay hands on, I speak to my cells every day. We lose 500 million of them each day. So you want to make sure that you have 500 million more being renewed. And if they're renewing them, then that's newness of life. Technically. Depends how you look at it. But getting back to the manipulation, someone came in here, and we know in the book of Genesis, where God just finally says, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You will not live more than 120 years. I promise you 120. So then you got to ask yourself, then why do most people die between 70 and 90? Why is it so rare that we see anyone in relatively good health past 100? When this Elohim said that it was going to give us 120 years. And even in that time frame of thousands and thousands and thousands of years of our development, yet our IQ has not increased and our years of living have decreased as well. Something they screwed with us. They owe us. They owe us big time. All right, folks, putting fluoride in the IN-SPIRIT-3 mine. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what they did. Freedom grower. I digress. Of course, that's what we do here. All right, folks. Well, it's 111 across the spectrum on my digital clock hanging on the wall there. So this is fun. I hope you're enjoying it. We'll continue on. The story gets better. And we have some other good ones coming right behind this one. So thank you all. Thank you, Brian, 1958. You have a good day, and Boston favored to you as well, my friend. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Make sure to tune in to Nina the Mystics channel over there. Check her out on her Hump Day program and enjoy that.